I used to believe I had everything a man could ever want: a beautiful wife, a smart and loving daughter, and a home filled with laughter and warmth. I wasn't a perfect man, but I did everything I could to be a perfect husband and father. I worked hard, provided for my family, and made sure they never had to worry about anything. For years, I looked at my life with deep gratitude, but I was a fool. The people I loved most, the ones I would give my life for, were the same ones who destroyed me. And the worst part? I never saw it coming. I met my wife, Laura, when we were young. She was radiant, full of life, the kind of woman who could light up a room with just a smile. I fell hard and fast. Our love felt like something out of a dream, the kind that made others jealous. At least, that's what I thought. We were inseparable, always laughing, always talking. Even when life got tough, I believed we were a team. I worked long hours to give us a comfortable life, but I always made time for her: date nights, surprise gifts, handwritten letters on our anniversaries, small gestures to remind her she was my everything. She would smile, kiss me, and tell me she loved me. And I believed her. God, I believed her. When our daughter, Emma, was born, something inside me changed. I had always worked hard for my future, but now I had someone else's future in my hands. I held that tiny, fragile body in the hospital room and swore I would be the best father a little girl could ask for. And for years I taught her how to ride a bike, stayed up late helping with school projects, and was the loudest voice cheering at her soccer games. Whenever she was scared at night, I sat by her bed, telling her stories until she fell asleep. And every time she hugged me tight and whispered, "I love you, Daddy," my heart felt whole. I thought our bond was unbreakable. But bonds aren't always as strong as they seem. Looking back now, I see the signs. They weren't obvious at first. Just small things, easy to ignore. A sudden lack of interest. Little changes in how Laura treated me. She used to look at me like I was the only man in the world. Her touch lingered. Her kisses were full of passion, even after years of marriage. And then they stopped. One day, I leaned in to kiss her in the kitchen, but she turned her head at the last second. My lips brushed against her cheek instead. She laughed it off. Sorry, I was distracted. I ignored the sting in my chest. Another night, I reached for her in bed. She sighed and shifted away. Not tonight. I'm exhausted. And yet, the next morning, she had plenty of energy to go out with her friends. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I was overthinking. But deep down, something felt wrong. Her phone became her best friend. Laura had never been secretive with her phone before, but suddenly, it never left her hand. She started tilting the screen away from me when she texted. Her phone was always on silent. No more message dings. No more notifications lighting up the screen. She began leaving the room whenever she got a call. One night, I woke up thirsty and walked past the living room. The glow of her screen lit up the dark room, her fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. I leaned against the doorframe. "Who are you texting this late?" She jumped and quickly locked the screen. "Just a friend from work." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I wanted to ask more. I wanted to push. But I didn't, because I trusted her. And that was my biggest mistake. Emma's sudden change in behavior. Emma had always been close to me. She was Daddy's little girl, always excited to see me when I came home. But then she changed. She stopped greeting me at the door. She spent more time in her room. She became distant, short answers, avoiding eye contact, pulling away when I hugged her. At first, I thought it was just teenage mood swings. But then I noticed how much closer she was getting to her mother. They whispered in hushed tones. They exchanged glances when I walked into the room. They started going out together, just the two of them, leaving me behind. I told myself they were just bonding as mother and daughter. I never imagined Emma knew something I didn't, that she was helping cover up her mother's betrayal. One night, we had dinner together, the three of us. I remember looking across the table at my wife and daughter, the two people I loved most in the world. Laura was laughing at something Emma said. They were smiling, sharing a secret. For a brief moment, I felt a flicker of happiness. Maybe I had been overthinking everything. Maybe I was just paranoid. Maybe we were still the perfect family. I had always believed we were. But what I didn't realize was that I was sitting across from two people who had already chosen to betray me. Two people who had already ruined me. And soon, I would finally learn the truth that I can tell you the exact moment my world collapsed. Not because it was some dramatic, earth-shattering event, but because it was so quiet, so painfully silent. It wasn't the kind of betrayal that crashes down on you all at once. No, it was slow, creeping, wrapping itself around my life like poison, spreading before I even realized I had been infected. And when the truth finally came out, it ruined me. It started with something small, a misplaced phone. Laura had always been careful. Her phone never left her side. But that night, for the first time in months, she forgot it on the kitchen counter. I wasn't the kind of husband who checked his wife's phone. I trusted her. But something about that moment, the way she froze when she realized it was missing, the way her eyes darted to me, filled with panic, made my stomach twist. "Babe, can you grab my phone?" she asked, her voice too casual. Something inside me whispered, "Don't give it to her." I picked up the phone. It was unlocked. And then, just as I was about to hand it to her, a message popped up on the screen. "I can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" Red heart. Time stopped. The air in the room changed. I felt my heart hammering in my chest, the blood draining from my face. I looked up at Laura. She was already walking toward me, fast. But it was too late. For a second, I thought my eyes were lying to me, that this was some kind of joke, a misunderstanding, that maybe it wasn't her phone, that maybe it wasn't real. But then Laura snatched the phone out of my hand, her fingers gripping it so tight her knuckles turned white. Her eyes met mine, wide, panicked. And I knew, who the hell is that? My voice came out steady. Too steady. She swallowed hard. It's nothing." I stepped closer. "Nothing." She backed away. The woman who had spent years sleeping beside me, who had whispered, "I love you," into my ear, who had carried my child in her womb. She stood in front of me like a cornered animal. And that was when I understood. She hadn't been distant because of stress. She hadn't been tired because of work. She was tired of me because she had someone else. I couldn't breathe. My head was spinning. But then, the final knife in my back. Emma walked in. She took one look at the scene, at me, at her mother, and her face didn't even change. No shock, no confusion, no questions. She already knew. I turned to her, my voice hoarse. "Emma, did you know about this?" She blinked, hesitated. That hesitation killed me. And then she looked at her mother before she finally whispered, "Yes." I staggered back as if she had physically hit me. "How long?" I choked out. Emma looked down. A while. She couldn't even meet my eyes. I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. My own daughter, my baby girl, the one I had held in my arms, the one I had raised, had chosen to protect her mother's secret instead of me. I had lost them both. It wasn't just infidelity. It was deception. It was manipulation. It was my wife and daughter standing on the same side, against me. I tried to speak, but my throat closed up. "Why?" I whispered. Laura ran a hand through her hair, exhaling sharply. "I didn't want you to find out this way. This way. This way. You didn't want to find out this way. Or you didn't want to find out at all." My voice rose, anger bubbling under my skin like acid. She said nothing. Emma wouldn't look at me. And that was when it hit me. I wasn't just being cheated on. I wasn't just being betrayed. I was being erased. They had already made up their minds about a life without me. I was the outsider in my own home. And it broke me. The silence of betrayal. For the next few days, I moved like a ghost. I barely spoke, barely ate, barely existed. But inside, something dark was growing. Because if they thought I was just going to walk away and let them destroy me, they were dead wrong. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to let them win. No, I was going to make them regret everything. And I was going to do it in a way they never saw coming. There's a moment right after your life crumbles when everything goes quiet. It's not like in the movies where people scream, throw things, or break down into sobs. No, it's just silent, like the world has stopped moving. Like you've been knocked into a dark void where nothing exists except the echo of your own pain. That's where I was. Broken, hollow, destroyed. And for the first time in my life, I had no idea what to do. I don't remember much from those first few days after discovering the truth. I know I didn't eat. I know I barely slept. I know I wandered through the house like a stranger in my own home, haunted by the memories of a life that no longer existed. Everything around me was a lie. The photos on the walls? Fake. The smiles in the family portraits? Meaningless. The laughter? Just an echo of something that had died long ago. I had learned something valuable in my suffering. Patience is the deadliest weapon. Step by step, I built my strategy. Every move was calculated. Every detail meticulously planned. This wasn't about reckless destruction. That would be too easy, too predictable. No, I wanted something deeper. I wanted them to feel the cold sting of betrayal, to feel the emptiness I had drowned in, to watch their world crumble, just like they had destroyed mine. No more sulking, no more looking defeated. I started working out, changing my appearance, dressing better. I carried myself with quiet confidence, like a man who had already won. I let them see the change, let them wonder what had shifted inside me. I acted unbothered, indifferent, as if I was the one moving on too easily. I knew it would get to them. It was only a matter of time. Meanwhile, I gathered information. My wife had been hiding things from me for so long, but now I was the one watching. I tracked her finances, followed the trail of her deceit. I hired a private investigator to dig up every piece of dirt on her and the man she had betrayed me with, every secret they thought was safe, every lie they had whispered. I was uncovering all of it. I kept my distance from my daughter, but I watched her closely. She thought she was protecting her mother. She thought she had chosen the right side, but she didn't realize she had chosen wrong. I let them believe they were free of me, let them feel comfortable, let them think I had given up. Then I started being friendly again. Not too much, just enough to make them lower their guard. I played the role of the forgiving husband, the understanding father. I gave them just enough warmth to make them believe I had moved past it, that I was learning to accept what they had done. They bought it. They thought I was weak. They thought I was done fighting. And when the time was right, I would strike. One evening, I sat at the dinner table, watching them. Laura and Emma were laughing, chatting, completely unaware that their world was already crumbling beneath them. I looked at my wife. She thought she had everything under control. She had no idea that I had gathered enough evidence to destroy her completely. Her reputation, her finances, even her relationship with a man she had risked everything for. I turned to Emma. She had been so confident in covering for her mother, thinking she was choosing the winning side. She didn't realize the truth yet. She had chosen wrong. They had won. That they could move on without me like I never mattered. But then reality hit. She needed help with school. I wasn't there. She needed advice. I wasn't there. She needed anything. I wasn't there. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I simply disappeared from her life the way she had erased me from hers. At first, she acted like it didn't bother her. She still had her mother, right? But Laura was too busy trying to salvage the wreckage of her own life to be the mother Emma had always relied on. Bills piled up, stress mounted, and suddenly my daughter realized something. She had chosen the losing side. One night, she called me. I let it ring. Then another message. Then another. Dad, please, I miss you. I read it, then deleted it. She had made her decision, and I had made mine. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it changes you. They had taken my love, my trust, and shattered it. In return, I had taken everything from them. And for the first time in a long time, I finally felt at peace.is silence. It's walking away while they drown in the mess they created. It's becoming someone so untouchable, so successful, that their biggest regret is losing you. And that's exactly what I did. I rebuilt myself. I thrived in ways they never imagined. New house, new career advancements, new relationships with people who actually value me. And the best part? They had to watch it all from the sidelines, knowing they could never be a part of my life again. One day, I ran into Laura at a store. She looked different, older, tired, worn out from the wreckage of her choices. She opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but I didn't let her. I just smiled, nodded, and walked away, because I had already won. They thought they were getting rid of me, but in the end, they were the ones who ended up alone, broken, and filled with regret. They didn't just lose a husband. They didn't just lose a father. They lost the best thing that ever happened to them, and they will spend the rest of their lives wishing they had chosen differently. But it's too late now, because I'm gone for good. I had already won. She stood there, frozen, eyes searching mine for something. Remorse, forgiveness, maybe even a second chance. But there was nothing left to give her. No words, no anger, no pain, just indifference. And that was the real victory. Because for the first time since this all began, I realized I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to make her suffer. She was already living in the wreckage of her own choices. And I was free. So I turned my back and walked away. Not out of hatred, not out of spite, but because I had finally moved on. Because she no longer mattered. Because I'd already won. And that's the real ending. Not with a fight, not with some dramatic confrontation. Just silence. The kind of silence that lingers, that haunts, that reminds them every single day of what they lost. They thought they could erase me, replace me, move on like I never existed. But in the end, they were the ones left behind. Alone, regretful, watching from the sidelines as I built a life without them. And me? I didn't just survive. I thrived. Stronger, wiser, untouchable. Because I was never the one who lost. They were. And now I'm gone for good.